Right. Yeah, that's interesting. It's a sometimes it's a double-edged sword. Like we have all the best medical health care and procedures they can do on your hip and your knee and fix your back, but then they give these pain pill drugs that are full of one that was called Oxycontin or any other pain pill, which is the same as heroin, and people get hooked on these drugs. And
Right. Some of the painkillers contain drug-like components. Yes.
yes, and people when they stop taking the drugs, they
have kind of addiction.
right. So pain pills were, gosh, what were they say? Were marked as non-addictive. Because we've had a lot of lawsuits about this in America. Let's see if they even have a video about it, because it might be taken down.
Hey girl.
Hi,
Hey.
how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, hanging in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you have classes right now? And
No, it was my last class, but I gotta work at 4. And
Okay.
I didn't know that you said right now, so I was like, I walked to the ones and
Yeah.
I came right here.
yeah, that's fine. I must have just missed you. I think I grabbed something and lunch. And were you going to look for another class, or what were you going to? You were going to make sure your.
My problem with my class was, okay, it's like Miss Garcia is signing our work, but Mr. I don't know the name, but he telling us what to do and what not to do. So it's like I got zeros for stuff that I couldn't complete because she got like she is prescribing our stuff on D2L and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him, can he send like an email for his new instructions or whatever for the class and stuff like that? And he said he don't know if he could do it.
Which class is this?
It's my Spanish class.
And then is that a required class?
I think it is a foreign language.
Yeah, but I feel like they changed that in social work.
You think so?
Yeah. Like you might want to even, I don't even know if you still talk to Dr. Allen or any of our directors.
I don't know none of them.
I don't think that you have to take a foreign language anymore.
Is it possible for me to switch something?
Well, you could withdraw, but are you only in 4 classes, 12 hours?
Yeah, so I can't drop it.
Well, you could drop it and add an 8-week class.
Okay, and will they? Oh yeah, I can do that.
Like psychology or what are the other ones? Business or history. They all have 8-week classes. Social work doesn't have any 8-week classes.
So if I do an 8-week class, how long would it take? What would that go through extra curricular?
You go to registration and just ask what 8-week class still has seats. It's October, November, December, and then you would want to get a W for your foreign language. Unless if you still want to finish the foreign language, like.
Because my thing is, I don't want to take it or whatever, and we get further in the semester, and he be like, "Well, I can't help you because of."
Right. Yeah. And I think that's why they offer, even if you withdrew and you had to take it, you could take it next semester. You know what I mean? Like that's an option. I don't think you have to take a.
I don't, because like I'm like halfway into my sophomore year, and I'm supposed to be a junior, so it's like withdraw from class if I'm not in the same points. It's still pushing me back from my senior year.
It will if you don't add a class, and I even recommend try to take 16 or 18 every semester if you can. Then you'll finish on time.
So you like my advisor, so when I pick my classes, I come to you?
I guess so. Who told you that though? Because I don't even.
Brittany.
Okay. If that's true, yeah, we can pick some. Like, do you still have your check sheet that I send that to you?
I didn't know how to work that drop thing or whatever.
You just basically check whatever classes you've already taken. Have you always been full-time, 15 hours? It's your sophomore year or your junior year?
A sophomore, because I'm still classified as a sophomore.
So did you start in 19 or 20?
Yeah, I started 19, but I took a semester off
because
of COVID.
So then you have at least, if you're a sophomore, that means you have 30 hours done. At least.
Yeah.
30. Okay. Maybe
and I
even
wanted
40.
a credit check, so When the next day you gonna be back on campus and we can like sit down and do this?
I'm definitely here every Tuesday and Thursday. I can try to make it up tomorrow. Um, but the key is, yeah, just remembering the class you took and like your grades, and that's how you check out the check sheet. And if you drop one, it's okay as long as you add one. You just got to add something. You need 120 hours to graduate. So freshman year 30, sophomore year up to 60, junior year 90, really 91, and then you graduate with 121. No foreign language. If I remember correctly, they got foreign language.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tomorrow I don't have nothing to do, but if you can come here if we could meet up on Tuesday, 'cause I thought you was gonna work. I wanted to work. And remember, I had to do my freshman year.
And it was like all the way over in the library?
Yeah.
Okay. That was the only time I ever had a class over there, which is funny. But if I were you, go to registration, ask them about drop a foreign language, add a psychology or history.
Mm-hmm.
And then as long as you are always taking 16 credit hours, you'll graduate on time. You can even catch up if you took a
Yeah, I'm gonna do summer this summer.
Okay, yeah, so you can
How
definitely.
many summer classes can you take?
You can take up to like either 9 or 11 credit hours.
Okay, that's cool. So 3 classes.
Yeah, so as long as you keep adding something. But ask registration. They should have 8-week classes. We keep on telling everybody. It's like, it's good to have it as it's like a makeup. You can drop the one that you are sucking at, and then you add one that you would like.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, for sure. Here's a quick 1 minute about the opiates. So in Cincinnati, well, not just Cincinnati, all over the United States, we had, say you had surgery and you got prescribed a pain pill, which is great, but you get addicted to that pain pill, then you're in big trouble. This isn't a minute. I thought it was only a minute long. So let's go back and see if they have the minute-long video. So a lot of people do this, from pills to heroin. Say you got a surgery, you're supposed to get off these pills, that they are physically addicting. It's easier to go buy street drugs. Heroin's only like $10. You go down to the corner, you buy a bag, street bag, and you got heroin.
Oh, it's really cheap.
It's really cheap, especially since we invaded Afghanistan, because I wish there was the video. Maybe, oh well. All right. So they at first said it was non-addictive. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So they're working on stuff that's non-addictive that could replace it and things of that nature. But I'll find it for you before next week, because I know we're on to. So we start out with getting pregnant. That's the fun part. Then you got infancy. You have a baby. That's for some people the fun part, but for a lot of people the not so fun part, because babies are exhausting. Babies need attention all the freaking time. Either one of you guys have nieces or nephews that you take care of?
I'm the brothers.
How much older are you than your brother?
6 years old.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Right. So you were old enough to like probably even
Sit here.
feed him, maybe change a diaper when he was old enough. So you know how much work it is. And that they're at risk for dying at all times. So a lot of people, like, I know it sounds dramatic, but so in Ohio, it is a big deal. And we had this big push. It looks like in Tennessee too, but it's called the ABCs of safe sleep. And I found this quick clip because these are like public service announcements, because people were like rolling over on their babies and killing them, and like sleeping. If you fall asleep drunk, you could like, again, roll over on your baby, or, anything could happen. So ABC means alone, back, crib. Apparently they added a D on there to don't smoke, because I guess the smoke can give baby less oxygen. But they have huge public service. Well, there's alone and back and crib. So that's how you're supposed to sleep them. Not everybody finds that easy. Well, yeah, here it is. Don't smoke during pregnancy. But where's their video? Okay, so here is your public service announcement. If you take care of kids, here's how they have to sleep.
The sight of a baby sleeping peacefully is heartwarming to parents, grandparents, and others. Yet the lives of many babies are cut tragically short as a result of being put to sleep in an unsafe place or position. This is why the Tennessee Department of Health has launched the Safe Sleep campaign to save the lives of infants in Tennessee.
We talk about the ABCs of safe sleep, and the A is for babies should sleep alone, the B is for babies should sleep on their back, and the C is for babies should sleep in a crib. So alone, on their back, in a crib.
Dr. Michael Warren is director for the Tennessee Department of Health's Division of Family Health and Wellness. He hopes the ABCs of safe sleep is a message that parents, grandparents, and caregivers will remember.
We feel absolutely confident that taking these simple measures will result in fewer babies dying in Tennessee.
In 2011, 108 babies died while sleeping because someone was on top of them. They became entrapped in something and were strangled, or they were caught between an adult and another child on the back of a couch or chair.
That's the equivalent of 5 empty kindergarten classrooms. And if you think about it, that's pretty striking to think of 5 classrooms that would otherwise have been filled with vibrant, energetic, ready-to-learn children.
The Tennessee Department of Health has launched its Safe Sleep effort to help reduce the number of babies who die from sleep-related deaths. The total number of infant deaths in Tennessee every year ranges from 500 to 600. And remember, there were 108 sleep-related deaths in 2011, so about 20% of all infant deaths are attributable to sleep-related causes.
This represents a pretty substantial amount of all of our infant deaths. 20%, in fact, of all our infant deaths. And if we were able to eliminate those, we would move from a point where we're at.
So a lot of these are not intuitive because you would think like, oh, you give them a blanket or oh, you give them a toy or you give them whatever. But they're saying nothing because basically till like 3 or 4 months, the baby can't move its head. They can't like lift. They don't have those muscles yet. They're just like a rag doll. And so if like somehow, for whatever reason, I guess they can move their arm, say that they move the arm and put the blanket on top of their face. That's how they get smothered. So there was also, NPR is starting to say that these deaths, and so this is coming from our book. We're also in chapter 4 in this book, it looks like. So infancy, different things that come up. So high infant mortality rate. Thank you. I found out we actually have 3 people from out of town taking this class, like Washington, D.C. and like Minnesota and something else. So it is a hybrid class. I do remember saying at one point you technically could like watch all the videos and do it online, but it's not recommended. You still can make it. But this chapter 4 is talking about the high infant mortality rate. Ohio has one of the highest. So they were talking about Tennessee, but for some reason in the Midwest, the highest. And then African Americans have the highest out of all races too. So they're doing a lot of research on that. They're doing a push for the public safety and getting safe cribs and getting safe places to sleep, because sometimes it's just the parent's exhausted, you're on the couch and maybe you fall asleep with the kid and then the kid falls and like its head gets stuck in the couch and dies, which is actually kind of sad. So they're like, if you are, and they sleep a lot. They sleep like 16 hours a day sometimes when they're first born. So we've had a lot of, last class we went through this legislation. We've had a lot of legislation, like early Head Start programs. We also had different societal changes. So like daycare programs increased in the 70s, child daycare, welfare reform also changed how we would get moms to work, because a lot of times it was hard to get to work if you were doing taking care of a child all day. Do you guys have any stuff in either city where you're from where there's a lot of good child care or daycare or something care?
Grandparents
Really?
probably most of the people are in the children violence, but it is a prison for a child where parents can put it and
Yeah.
will want to kill himself.
Right. So they all have cribs that are safe and the kid doesn't.
Yes, and that's all. I mean, it is like the awful option that grandparents are probably the only cheap and good quality place where you can put your children.
Right.
So,
Any daycares where you're from that are
It's a daycare literally on the corner of my block.
okay? 'Cause they're everywhere. I mean, otherwise, how do you get to work? If you got a kid or you adopt a kid or somebody in your family passes away and can't take care of a kid and you're taking them, like, how do you work? You know what I mean? Like, that's what my wife is running
Like
into.
anything can happen
Yeah,
at any time in the moment.
right. And so one other thing I saw that was interesting is they used to say for a long time we didn't know how SID stands for sudden infant death syndrome. Like we didn't know why the kids were dying. Like it was a mystery. And it looks like, I know this video is a little bit older, but for a long time they're like, we don't know how they just randomly died. And they're saying in this video, they've actually gotten to the bottom of it. And that's kind of where that hbse's research came from. So babies' sleep position and SIDS rates. In 92, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommended babies sleep on their backs to prevent accidental deaths. Because if they're face down, like they could get trapped and just can't breathe. They can't lift their head till like 3 months or 4 months. The number of babies sleeping on their backs has increased. SIDS cases have decreased. So, that sleep on your back really only came about, well, it shows here, like kind of 92 and got real big in 98, 99, and 2000. And people got to like 70% by 06. And then we see that like one baby per every 1,000. It used to be almost 2 babies for every 1,000. Now it's down to a half a baby for every 1,000 or 1 for every 2,000 dies. I thought they had a video too, but maybe I'm wrong. So here, they're doing it in Baltimore too. A lot of the Midwestern big cities, and they're really pushing for a lone back and crib. And that way the baby doesn't die from like strangulation pretty much.
I'm Yana Williams. I have one daughter. She's 12 years old, and I had a younger son. He would have been 11 months old. His name is Brandon Lawson.
My name is De'Ara. I live in the northern part of Baltimore. I have a husband, 3 children, a 4-year-old. His name is Eugene. I have a 1-year-old. Her name is Sanaya. And I had a baby boy. His name was Charlie.
My name is Lottie Plumley. My son was born in Baltimore, Maryland on November 12, 2009. My son's name was William Woodward.
I basically got a phone call from another family member that was living in the house that the ambulance was at the home trying to resuscitate the baby and that they were rushing him to Hopkins. He was not in his crib. He was in the bed, in our bed.
When I woke up at 4:30, he was gone. We found him dead in the middle of our bed.
On December 29th, Charlie passed away. He turned a month that day. That morning, he was in the bed with us. And when I woke up and looked over at him, he just wasn't breathing. I had a chance to go back to December 29th. Knowing writing them down, I probably would have changed a lot of things.
I have a 7-month-old baby, and I learned when I went to his doctor for his first appointment that all the babies need to sleep safe. That means alone, no parents, no brothers or sisters, on his back, not on his tummy, and in the crib. That means that in the crib they don't need any bumpers or pillows or blankets, any teddy bears, no reception.
For you to be asleep with that baby, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think it's worth the child's life. Research shows that babies who sleep with a parent are 3 times more likely to die than babies who sleep alone in a crib. Every month, an average of 2 babies less than a year old die in Baltimore City. These are preventable deaths.
I'm Dr. Avril Melissa Houston. I'm a pediatrician working for the Baltimore City Health Department and a mother of twins. It is so important that babies are put to sleep alone, on their back, and in a crib. When we go to sleep at night, we toss, we turn, and the little babies are not strong enough to kick back and say, I'm still here, don't roll on me. And so that's how a lot of infants end up dying.
You could possibly roll over the baby, your arm, or the brother and sisters could, put their arms in the windpipe and could suffocate, or the baby could possibly roll over to the side and not be able to get any air.
Since doctors have started telling moms to put their babies on their backs, 50% fewer babies have died due to SIDS.
When you sleep on your stomach, your windpipe is down, and that's where gravity flows. So if my baby were to spit up while they're sleeping on their stomach, it's a sure path down through the windpipe or the trachea into their lungs, and I knew I didn't want that to happen.
A safe crib should have absolutely nothing in it but the sheet, a mattress, and absolutely nothing else. No blankets, no bumpers, no bears, no toys, nothing but the baby, the sheet, and the mattress.
If you needed a crib, Baltimore City will give you a crib.
It's okay to share the room with your baby, but not your bed.
Well, it's very important to all the babies to sleep safe. And even if you say it won't happen to me or doesn't happen to all the babies, you never know. So sleep safe, alone, back, crib, and no exceptions.
I know a lot of times older people do things the way they did it when they were, raising their children. And, you just sometimes kind of have to let them know, this is how I want my baby to sleep, or, this is where I want him to sleep, this is what I prefer for him or her. It's your baby. You have to let them know what you want for your baby. At the end, it's if something was to happen, you have to live with it, not them. You can never replace that child that you lost, ever. And you'll never ever forget it. Something you have to live with every single day to wake up and your arms be empty, or your home is missing a child, or you'll never be able to have grandchildren from that one child. It's something you can never change it.
I never expected this to happen. I don't think any mother really does. I haven't really hit the big milestones yet, like his birthday, which is coming up, the year anniversary.
I finally went to go visit Charlie's grave for the first time yesterday. And I happened to look in the ground for something that symbolizes where my son is, where his body is. That was hard in itself, and then finally finding it and seeing his name on this headstone, my son. It was so hard.
I would tell other mothers just to really do what everybody says, because I really don't want this to happen to anybody else.
It's something no one should ever have to experience, because it's the hardest thing to get through. I really miss Charlie, and I'll always love him with all of my heart. My love will never change for Charlie, because he's my baby. I really, really love my son.
So yeah, we had Cincinnati also has the same deal going on, where if you needed a crib, they will give it to you. So that really lowered our infant mortality rate.
We know your child's well-being.
it's definitely something that is very simple that helped change all of that so we could move forward.
I found that video kind of crazy because when my niece, she likes to go to sleep, she likes to lay on her stomach. Like, she likes me to rub her back,
Right.
like pat her bottom.
Right, that's like
go to sleep, but then I put on her back, but I just do it because like the way she sleeps, she be like in a different weird position. So I just put her on her back and then put her in the blanket. That's just something I always do. And then now that I know like that, like that's crazy.
How old is she now too? Because that
I
also.
think she's about going to be a year.
Okay.
November.
So by then it should, I'm not gonna, I guess I should look it up, but usually by about a year, they are able to lift their own head. So if they got stuck, they could like move and it's okay. But their first month through their third month or fourth month, they can't. And that's when usually that occurs. So, but yeah, I think you're right. They hate sleep on their back. We try to put the babies on their back a lot and they start getting pissed and crying and all that. So
it's something about them being on their tummy, they like it.
Yeah.
The crawler position.
Right. Yep. So, and that's something that, the first 3 or 4 months you really need to look out for. So, that was, I know that the first few weeks we were kind of focusing on how to get pregnant. Obviously, everybody knows how to do that, but just that a woman only is fertile for 24 hours. So that's, hello, how are you?
Sorry.
Okay.
Do you know what the professor is from, sorry?
What is it, psych?
Yeah.
I mean, the only ones that I know, is it an online class, do you think?
Well, we've met in person a couple of times, but I know he was saying we were gone last week. So this will be our first week back, and then he canceled us.
Tuesday. I don't know who it is. Do you know what he looks like?
I've only seen the man like 3 times.
Right.
He's like Dr. Ayana Agua or something like that.
Are you able to at least email him, I guess?
I can. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
No, that's okay. I just don't know who it is, and if I did, I would. We're social work, so we're usually.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We're connected, but we just don't know. Yeah, have a good one. So yeah, getting pregnant, you only have 24 hours as a woman, but then because the man's sperm lives 5 days, there are 5 to 6 fertile days that you can actually get pregnant. Most miscarriages happen in the first 3 months. So usually people don't announce that they have a pregnancy until like 120 days. After that, usually the baby is safe to be announced. I think it's only 2% of miscarriages happen after 3 months. At about 23 weeks, the baby can live outside the womb. With an incubator, I think we can have babies at like 2 or 3 months old and they live in an incubator. Having the baby could take anywhere between like 1 or 2 hours to my wife was in labor for 24 hours and she hated her life. And now we have the baby. So this one talks about how, I'll make it bigger if I can, your birth weight doubles by 5 months. And we noticed that with my daughter was it doing that weird shit again? I hate when it does this. All right, I'm not going to do display mode. It messed it up for me. Let's leave it this way. A lot of them are born at 6, 7, or 8 pounds. My daughter was like 6.5 last year. My son was like 7 this year. Okay, now it's kind of working, but it still sucks. Yeah, that's right. Do those actually help you, or does it make it more confusing? Yeah, okay.
Somebody, especially in films, sometimes they talk very
right. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, these subtitles, I don't even know how to stop that. I've tried to stop it so many times because it does. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, that's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy how technology has the world.
I know. It's like presentation form. I don't know if they can see it on the. There we go. Now they got it. All right. So at 5 months, yeah, you're born at like 6 pounds. You're going to be about 12 pounds at 5 months. I feel like ours were 12 pounds at 12 weeks. But now my daughter's 21 pounds and she's 14 months. And then my son is 15 pounds and he's only 3 months. Tomorrow he'll be 4 months. So
wrote 15 pounds like pounds in English money. Not
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, what
It
weight
was funny.
measure do they use in Russia? Is it only pounds or do they use
No, kilograms.
kilograms?
We use meters and kilograms.
Right.
Like all the rest of the world.
Right. I wonder if in America we just wanted to confuse everybody, so we started using pounds and inches
Miles
and
all these
miles.
things.
15 pounds.
Yes.
And now I was thinking
No,
like,
I was trying to see if it's gonna come up again.
Oh yeah, the 15
Yeah,
pounds
it just
instead
came up
of
regular.
50 pounds.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh
my son is like 50
yeah.
pounds. It sounded great.
Yeah, we bought them on the black market in China.
That's why they were so cheap.
You can buy babies, you can buy livers, but no, I mean, sadly, that does go on. Luckily, I'm very old, so we didn't think we could have a baby. And so we tried right away, and obviously it worked. We thought we would have to, like some people have to wait 2 or 3 or 4 years to have a baby. That could be because the man has bad swimmers. The woman could have, if you're on birth control for a long time, it can affect your reproductive cycle, if that makes sense.
Usually they don't recommend to use them like for more than 3 years. Like
Right.
any stops.
Right. Yeah. And then we were also talking about how the number of kids, people used to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 kids, like my mom's family and my dad's family.
I got 18 brothers and sisters.
Right. See?
How
Now,
18.
18?
That's all on my dad's side.
are you the youngest or are you the oldest?
I'm like,
In the middle?
no, I'm really towards the end.
Okay.
I'm like probably the fourth.
Okay.
The fourth or the fifth. Yeah, I got like 4 younger siblings.
Right. So a lot of people, like nowadays, our average number of kids is like 1 or 2 kids, and that's it. That's all
That's
people
it.
are. Yeah. So, and we talked about how, like, in the old days, you would have a ton more because half of them would die, and you need them to work on the farm. We don't need that so much anymore, but some people do. I guess, China used to have a one-child policy up until the 1980s, if you remember that.
And they have problems with this now because they have way more boys than
Men.
girls.
They
Yes.
have, and I was just, so they have 30 million more women than they do men. Or vice
No,
versa,
no,
vice
men.
versa, yes.
Because man is like a person who will get resources for his elder parents, and they were like, we should have a boy, not a girl, and they did a lot of abortions where they knew that she would be a girl.
Right, so
Now you can't like find a wife there.
China and India, you could do a selective abortion, so they would scan the womb. If they saw it was a girl, they would kill it. Just because they didn't want a girl. They wanted a man to pass on their stuff to. But there's a lot of videos that came out the past few years about this, but this one is, in India it's even worse. Here's a quick one. I like to, since we have short attention spans, I like short videos. It's hard to pay attention anymore, isn't it?
In absolute numbers, there are 33 million more men than women in China.
33
today.
million. God,
The
that's a
gender
lot.
imbalance in China is most severe in rural farmlands, as women in these villages travel out to cities in search of husbands. And that has led to the emergence of, quote, bachelor villages across the country. In Xishan, a city in Shanxi province, for example, impatient parents like 68-year-old Xing Gengshan commonly engage matchmakers to find the right life partners for their sons. In a village where men and women typically marry aged around 20, Xing's 32-year-old son is considered too old to be single.
你到底你儿子哪个家里不难？你把父亲这个人幸福起码是一个义务的，当然没着急。儿子他也都因为年龄在那里，也不干了。要是你们婚姻超过40几年，年老公有嘛，可以。
Hey, that's when I got married.
可以。
I was 41, I
To play
think.
Cupid has been a constant challenge for matchmakers like Wang Luxi.
这个女子不希望是指正的，我多这个问题，你没去，
How tall is that?
多高度多高？
It is
5 feet?
20 centimeters more than me.
Okay.
Not very good.
5 feet tall. So it looks like they want a tall husband in China too, which is,
Yes,
huh?
because usually they're not tall and
Right.
they want their children to be tall.
It's interesting all the different ways we discriminate against people. We're like, oh, you're too short, or oh.
There's a whole war of matchmaking.
Oh, really? Yeah, they have like online matchmakers that I think there's a movie about the Indian matchmakers and how they go through like matching up the perfect, because they're arranged marriages also. I don't know if you guys have heard of arranged marriages, but you would basically not to get to choose the person you married.
I had a fun story in my ancestors because one of my grandparents had to marry one girl, and his brothers took him to this girl village to marry, and he ran away. Then they like wrapped him with the tie and went one more time. Somehow he escaped, and when in the third time they went to the village, they were sitting on his arms and legs for him not to escape.
Are you serious?
Yes. And
Okay.
that's how my great-grandfather met my grandfather.
Okay.
Such a
Yeah, so
sad
arranged
story.
marriages still happen today. They happen more often in the past. And
Usually it is in the big families like those mafia families that want to have a good connection with another big family.
right. So, and I'm gonna link it back to, you guys have already done the genogram, but basically like we're looking at the genetics of what we hear, like as a social worker, a lot of mental illness, a lot of diseases, even addiction is passed on through your genetics. So that's why when we first get a client, we ask about your genealogy or your history or what you do throughout the day. The next one is going to be the eco map, which I guess they erased. But I tell you guys what the app was to download that shows you where you go all throughout the day. I guess it's easier if you are. Let's see here. It is called Life Cycle. That's the name of it. And so it will like, it tracks you, but I'm like, the government tracks our phones and where we go anyway. I like that this gives you a breakdown of your day, which would be your eco map. So you spend 12 hours a week in classes, maybe you do 10 hours a week in dining or exercise, 5 hours in like church, and then extracurriculars and fun stuff, and then maybe studying. And that's, essentially the next assignment. I have a good video on that too, to like break up your eco map. So maybe we'll focus in on that, because that's your next assignment. How about that? How do you make an eco map? I know there's several opinions why, and you can get as detailed. Yeah, some people's looks like this. So I want one that won't put us to sleep. Actually, I feel like I remember this one from last time. So your family's eco map, and this is how you would create it for your next assignment. You can draw them. It says F your coffee. It's kind of funny.
You just had to point it out.
Right.
So at what level, we could talk about.
Okay, never mind. This one will put you to sleep. I remember that one from last time too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, visuals is everything.
I know. So it doesn't say how long it is. Okay, animation. Yeah, let's do animation. The eco map animated. And again, you'll use this with your clients. And it shows like who you have good energy with, who you have bad energy with, where you spend your daytimes. I hope they draw one now. Because if it's just words the whole time, that also is not healthy. Okay, that's good. It's just all music there. So yeah, what's stressing you out throughout the week? It could be school, it could be your job, it could be homework. It'll have your extended family, work, school. Yep, right here. Yeah, because this is where you'll like break down. You could use different colors for like maybe that's the stressful part of your life. Maybe that's the stressful part, like in-laws if you're married, or school. That can, like be and kind of getting to know yourself essentially. And yours can be different than this. So this is just an
We
example.
should do like it's about one day, or like it will be something about a week.
You could do a whole week. That's fine. But like, yeah, areas of your life, wherever your energy is given and take back. So even if you only see your family at the end of the semester because you're from out of town, maybe you'll add family in, or you just call them. So that's something else to add in. And then, or if you only go to church like once a month or once a year, or whatever, you can make that a small piece of the pie. So yeah, and then any social system you're involved with, like the Jones family. Okay.
J. Jones.
Yeah. Oh, twins. Dang. That's the easiest part of the whole eco map. And everybody has different ideas of how to make them, so there's no perfect way, which is
Right, I
fine.
can just put my name right there, right?
I mean, you could.
That's about me.
You obviously do school. I'm guessing you do something to get your money to pay for school, or probably some of it is.
I didn't big family origin, so it's like I would put my name and be lying for the family.
Yours is family of origin. You're saying?
It's not.
So like adoptive family. That's okay. That's fine. Nowadays most of us have adoptive family members. It's just like natural, so that's okay. So yeah, the flow of energy, you can show it this way, like it's either a stressful connection, it has like a line through it or a double line, or you can have a weak connection if it's like ... or a solid thick line is like a strong connection to family, or like spirituality or school, you like love school. That's the flow of energy piece. Okay, here we go. Now this is all the different things, like he's got, gosh, I can't read it because it's blurry. It's a little bit better on here. Sue's mom, she has a decent connection with mom. John's political opponents, interesting. John's mom. So you can add all kinds of stuff from your whole family into here.
So
We're all going to get COVID.
This is how you want it.
I mean, this is a good one. This shows like every little single thing that you and your family could be involved in. So, I mean, that's very detailed. That's a good, and like I said, there's no perfect way to do it, but just covering all of your bases is helpful. Did I turn it all the way down? I didn't turn it all the way down, but. And then the reason we do them is because as a social worker, we're going to make an assessment of the family, create a plan for them and what intervention you'll use. If there's like alcoholism over here, you want to get them to Alcoholics Anonymous. If there's homelessness or, any variety of things, you want an intervention appropriate for those challenges in their life. Or family counseling. They might just need family counseling. Don't we all need family counseling? Maybe not.
I think you got it all understood.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it can show you their communication style. It shows the potential for family to like see themselves in writing. Like, how do we, is there one that's a dominator in your family? Is there an alpha in your family and a beta?
A problem solver.
Yeah. And so that was decent. There still was it was all in writing, so you had to read it all, which is also fun. maybe this one. So you guys may be drawing yours. You can certainly download software if you want.
Actually, in PowerPoint, you can make all these graphics.
Are you serious?
Really easy.
Right. Yeah, I know Word has the symbols. So, and that's fine. Whatever's easier for you. I am terrible at computers. That's why I'm like, no way. When we did it, we never used a computer, but I was born in the 70s. Is that considered old? So yeah, this person's just drawing theirs from scratch. Let's see if we can speed it up a little bit. Nancy, that must be her name. And then she must be on Social Security. Like maybe she's older and that's where we get money from the government to pay for us when we're 65 or older. We pay into Social Security.
Usually, some part of our taxes goes to these services, and they will just return us back what we earned.
Right. Yeah, you've already paid for it, technically. You're right about that. So that's the same thing here. And actually, it's like a Ponzi scheme. So we're paying for the old people right now. And when we get old, the younger people will pay for us. But because we're having so few children, we might not have enough people paying for us.
And it's better, I can give that money not to the government, but just, to the bank, and it will be safer, I guess.
Right, yeah. I like the idea of having natural resources, the garden, a cow to milk, some chickens, a whole farm, and
Do you have chickens as a pet?
I do. I have chickens.
They're like pets, or?
Yeah, they live in my backyard, but we do make their eggs, so we collect their eggs and eat them.
But you're a vegetarian?
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, but I eat cheese and I eat milk, so it's called Octolova vegetarian.
That makes sense.
And it is, yeah, it's different, but I would see that as a better social security system than. So yeah, she's showing her interactions with all of these
Grandchildren, I guess.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So she's got those take up part of her week. I bet usually they're a good, strong connection, not stressful, but let's see. Oh, she did show it as kind of a weak connection. Maybe she doesn't get to see her grandkids like she fought with her daughter. And again, these are an assessment tool to see what you want to talk about with a client in your social work interventions. Like, okay, so how is your relationship with your daughter? How is your relationship with?
I guess when it is like it's connected to you, it is when someone gives you energy, and otherwise, the Social Security gives energy to Nancy,
right?
Nancy gives energy to her grandchildren.
Right, and you're right.
This is the point.
At one point, before she was 65, she had to pay all that money to Social Security first. So. But right now she's just taking from it. So I guess as many years as you live after 65, then that's her daughter. I wonder if she's fighting with her daughter. This is my guess. Because I don't know why she would have a weak connection to grandchildren otherwise. Usually people love their grandchildren. I don't know. Oh.
There is no connection.
I know. Let's see here. Is it going to be dotted? Oh. Okay, maybe she is going to make it a two-way strong connection, but
wow,
interesting. I don't know.
Should we make it like it is here or like it is on your app, or we can choose?
Either one is fine. It looks like most examples are actually.
I don't really like this time because it doesn't show how much time exactly.
I know, right? That's true.
It's more about all the relationships, but we usually just talked about them in our genogram, so it is like doing it one more time.
Right. I guess you could write how many hours a week you do that after that connection. So it would be entirely up to you. But again, this is like normal social work etiquette. Here's another one. So, and they have on the side, you can write a little paragraph about it too. Like strong connection, stressful connection, weak connection, or poor. Oh, I should turn it up.
Dr. Ann Hartman, a social worker, applied the concept of an ecosystem to human communities to focus on the complex ecological system that includes the family and the total environment. In order to help caregivers capture and organize this complexity, she developed an innovative diagramming technique called the EcoMap. That's his name right here. The EcoMap is essentially a diagram of a social solar system in which the family genogram is placed in the position of the sun. Now, we're not going to worry about sticking an entire genogram right here in the middle. You get to be in the position of the sun.
Ah.
You get to be.
I like that way to describe it. It's like a solar system.
And other important people and institutions in your life space are depicted with circles around the center, like planets around your sun. The EcoMap shows the exchange of the social matter with energy that maintains and is exchanged by the family in their living social ecosystem. As with voting, Dr. Hartman's work evolved in a climate of the work of many other theorists working in what is commonly called the systems or systemic school of family theory, which in turn grew out of general systems theory, which was being applied in many other fields, from physics to anthropology to biology. I'm reading this from a PDF that came out of Colorado State because I thought it explains EcoMap very well. Now, as you can see here, on the left side of your screen, you have an example of an EcoMap that I have written where you would go, with examples of put your family here, work, school. Here is a list of other things that you might consider as important enough to put on your home.
So I've determined I actually like this one the best. They describe it as a human solar system, and you are the center and the sun. Yeah, and everything else going around you, you can show like how far away or how close they are. I like this one the best, basically.
Or you might even think of other things. You then use lines to depict the flow of energy or the quality of the relationship between you, the center of your universe, remember, and these satellite things that are in your solar system. A solid line means a strong relationship. The more solid the line, the more strong the relationship. A thinner line would mean strong, but not as strong as the thicker line. A wavy line would mean stressful. That's just like it was in the genogram. A dotted line means a weak or poor relationship. And then each one of these lines that you draw should have an arrow on it indicating the flow of energy. To me, that is the most important thing that an EcoMap illustrates, is where your energy is going. Because once you've drawn this thing and you see all the things in your life and sit and think through, am I giving to it? Is it giving back to me? And in what measure? You'll have a completed picture that you can look at to see where all your energy is going. And if when you're done, you see yourself in the center and all the arrows are going outward, like a literal drawing of the sun, you might need to stop and think, how can I get some arrows coming back into me? Because that would be very stressful if all your energy were going out and nothing would replenish you. So it's kind of a good little temperature taking device to see how things are in your life. Now we are attaching to this lesson that I'm sending you an empty EcoMap without the words already inserted and without lines already drawn. I want you to create your own. Put yourself in the center, put things that are important in your life in the surrounding circles, and draw the lines. Strong, stressful, weak, poor, but most importantly, the arrows. And bring this with you when you come to your exam, okay?
No
Show
exam
up for
here.
your final. And I will see you then. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Mine is walking. Like since I got knee surgery this year, I only walk. But that's like, she was saying how like if all of your arrows would be out like with the kids, really work sometimes feels that way. For me, it's walking that I do put into it, but it does give me that energy back. And like even the vegetarian diet, which they say, you know, is supposed to be like gives you a good amount of energy because from the sun, which is 100% of energy, then the vegetables is 10% of the energy, and then the cows only get 10% of the energy, and then you eat the cow. They say you only get like 1% of that energy. If you've ever heard that breakdown before. I do eat eggs though, so I guess that's not vegan diet. But yeah, and then it could be like church and other family. That might actually just be like a stressful one, which is okay. So I would put like maybe a dotted line, and right now I just give to them. Actually, yeah, so and then
Everything is where you give an energy, it returns back to you in some kind of like, even with kids, like.
it usually does. You're right. I feel like they are all give and take, but or else you probably wouldn't be doing it in the first place. But I see what you're saying. It is.
The only thing when you don't take anything back is like something extremely voluntary, and even in this case, you give this approval, like you're a good person, you help somebody. So even there's some energy going back to you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it is a great breakdown that a lot of people have. So this is all like in this class in human behavior in the social environment, you start learning about theory. This is the systems theory and how you interact with.
Hi, this is Christy, and welcome to the tutorial on how to complete your Unit 8 assignment, which is the Eco Map. From your course home screen that looks like this, you're going to first click on Content. And you're going to scroll down to Unit 8. And once you're in Unit 8, you want to click on Assignment. At the top of your screen, you can click on Unit 8 Assignment to get the instructions on creating the Eco Map. So an Eco Map, like we discussed in seminar, it's a graphic that illustrates the systems that influence your behavior. So in order to do this, you first have to read the case overview on Sandra. We're going to create an eco map based on the information that you read about Sandra, and then in Unit 9, you are going to write your Unit 9 assignment based on the eco map. So what we're looking at is what are the influences on Sandra? And we are going to illustrate that. So in order to do that, you have to open up the template, which you are going to click here.
And a case study is what every single client you will get in C. They all have a case story or a case history, and it might be a good one, it might be a bad one, it might be a neutral one.
I already have done. And this will open up for you. This is the Eco Map template. Now to fill this out, what you want to do is you're going to double click on the middle because that's where Sandra's name is going to go. Then around here, the 6 circles in the outside are where you are going to put the influences on Sandra's life. So for example here, I'm going to give this up. This is somewhat subjective since what you believe Sandra's influences are may be different than your classmates. However, you want to keep the influences concrete. Concrete meaning people or community groups. You don't want them to be thoughts or feelings. They should be concrete.
Oh, that's interesting.
Then each of the 6 influences needs to have an arrows pointing at it. It each needs 2 arrows. So is this influence stressful or positive? And is it strong or weak? So let's say this influence here is stressful and weak. You simply click on the arrows and drag them over. Now your arrows don't need to be perfect. However, they do need to clearly illustrate how, you need to be able to clearly see how they influence Sandra or how Sandra influences.
So this is another different way. You can have
Now let's say
stressful
this influence
and
over
weak.
here, let's call this influence number 2.
I wish you'd give an example.
Let's say this influence here is strong, but strong towards Sandra. So we need to turn the arrow. So you see this little green dot sticking out of the arrow? If you click on that green dot.
This is why I'm
and
not
hold it
making you
down,
guys do it that way.
you may flip the
See how the
arrow
computer,
the other way.
if you're good at that, fine, but I would
Like
suck.
right at Sandra.
I would hate that.
So as you go around for each of these 6 influences, each influence needs 2 arrows, either towards Sandra or toward the influence. So you should in total have 6 influences and 12 arrows. If you look at the bottom of this screen here, it also has instructions. You then want to save this as a Microsoft Word doc.
Yeah, so that's if you do it on the computer, which again, I'm fine with. I am also okay with you drawing it because I am not a computers person, if you haven't found that out yet during these classes. So that is, for now, the gist of the assignment for next week. Not super duper complicated, but because we're actually at a decent stopping point too. My back wants to go out on me today. Oh God. I have to do some yoga, I think. Some type of stretches. Do you guys have a yoga class here ever anywhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is, but it conflicts with my classes and I don't.
Would they let you take that though, because it's not an information class?
They won't count it as a course, it is just like one more that I can take, but it won't be counted.
So you have to take full-time 12 hours of
Yes,
like,
at least.
and then you're allowed to do like 1 or 2 more that are like electives.
Yeah,
And you can't bring them back home to Russia.
I can't bring nothing back home to Russia. Yes, I took an academic holiday in Russia to go here.
Because yoga is good self-care. That's why, you know, we always talk about the different self-care to do.
My mama does yoga, so she's like, you must take some, especially because of food here, because all the food is
The
not
food
really-
sucks.
Yes, it is sweet and hot, not many vegetables, a lot of something deep fried, and I'm like, I want to go home at least in the same way taking
Oh,
here.
dang. Did you guys go to get the free vegetables on campus Tuesday?
There is a salad bar here. And
Right.
It is like, we are the only people who usually use
Really?
Russian
I do too. Is that you actually can buy it and then they weigh it and then you bring it out. So what I do is I just buy my own dressing at the store and leave it in the fridge here. And then I just buy all lettuce because it's really lightweight, and then you weigh it and it's like $5. And you can bring it home with you. But every Tuesday, first Tuesday of the month, they give out free vegetables on that corner over there. It's like over there.
Tuesday of the month, yes.
What is it?
Every Tuesday.
Every first Tuesday of the month. So it won't be till October 7th again.
Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, but there's a lot. I mean, they give out, and you can also, if you have a Central State email address, you can sign up for Amazon Prime for free. Have you done that? And then you'll get free deliveries. So, which you might already know this. Did you know if you get Central State email, you go to Amazon. I actually just used mine from Central and I got free. And then, oh shoot, it's not going to remember me. Oh no. Let's see if I can remember my password. And then this will be for the energy that gives back to you guys. And then say you want to, oh shoot, do they let you get groceries up here?
I'm not sure, we can try.
You said where do I get my groceries from?
Like, do they have grocery deliveries? As these are the 2 that deliver to my house.
I'm not sure. I know I get my groceries delivered from Walmart sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, you can order from
No,
Walmart.
not here. I order it and then I go pick it up.
But they'll deliver from DoorDash.
They do?
Yes.
I didn't even know.
Walmart delivers from DoorDash. I don't know if like there's a certain range, but you can
Yeah,
buy
when I
like,
tried to get delivery here from Walmart to the school, they said they didn't accept it or something like that. They said it was out of the radius. I don't know how, but it's right up the street.
okay. And then on top of this, I just found this out and I've spent way too much money on this. Sending food to my wife because I can't really cook when I'm up here. But you also get a free Grubhub Plus account and they will deliver. Like I just got something yesterday. It was like all vegan and vegetables and good groceries. I don't know if well yeah, I have a delivery tomorrow. So here is my, you know, like you can order this stuff and if you get $35, it's free delivery. So
Especially though we don't have cars and we're not allowed to drive anywhere.
right. Well, and so that's what I'm saying. Like if you guys have you know, let's see if I have, well, yeah. So for like her breakfast, I got a banana. These are like a healthy, like keto bar, a milk. I've got some Ricolas and freaking protein waffle and Kavita. But they'll deliver that stuff. But you get a free account for 6 months if you have a Central State email address. So I don't know if they will deliver groceries, but you probably still could search like if they do. Will they do vegetables? I'm trying to. You could still order some healthy like veggie chips, stuff like that. I know it's not perfect.
Them veggie chips are actually good.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. So even if you can't get Fresh Time or the other ones, these are those are just straight up prime. And they give you 24. That's funny. So hopefully that could expand your options, and then delivery comes here. I don't know who else Grubhub delivers through, but like it's an app on your phone. What in my?
And that should have just other delivery services like our own.
Really?
Yes, a ton of them now, especially in big cities. It is not just food; they deliver from little like shops.
Okay, right. So this does too, and like yesterday, gosh, if I orders, here we go. So like yesterday, I had delivered here, and you have to like write into them where you ordered from. It was called Sweetheart Cafe. And like I said, I've spent way too much money on it, but the Green Canteen, this place is like 3 miles away and they have vegan food. And so, where is this? I ordered 1 sweet potato bowl and that's like all that, I mean, it was $14 to deliver it, but it was the healthiest thing I've eaten on this campus ever in my entire life. It was just all sweet potatoes, beans, vegetables, and like a sauce on top. So
It'll be the delivery part that kills the college students.
I know.
It'll be the total. I promise you, it'll be the delivery. Like people on campus, like they take you to the store and they're trying to charge you like $10-15. Like we're typical college students, just like you. Like
right.
It'll be the delivery for everything that make people don't want to do stuff.
Right. Yeah, and I guess the other trick is like starting the side business. If you guys bought enough of that shit on Amazon, you probably could sell it on campus.
I know a few people who like use DH Gates to get like lashes, maybe like 5 minutes and stuff, and they sell their stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta find a way to pay for college. So if that's how you do it, or if you gotta find a way to pay for your Grubhub habit or like veggie chips, I don't know. But that is for today. I'm going to stop because we're at a good stopping point. We're still at babies and how fast you grow and how they start then crawling and lifting their head and sitting up and stuff like that. We're going to get into like the full evolution of the baby next.
And by the end of the semester, we'll get to death, I guess.
Hopefully we get to death. Now
it won't be a sudden death.
Right, yeah. I mean, hopefully it's not a COVID death or a heroin overdose death, but if it is, that is real life. And why our life expectancy has gone down. Hopefully, so this class actually is 2 parts, and we are supposed to really just do like the first 20, 30 years of life, and then the second 20, 30 years of life, but we split it up differently now, where this one does go hopefully to adulthood, and the second class focuses way more on theories and all the different human development theories, and like we only cover a couple theories in this class, and that's what you would use in your final paper. And one of them is the systems theory. How many systems do we interact with, like family, school, government, you name it. But there's like 12 different theories that they have for humans. And some people love theory and some people hate theory because it's very confusing.
It's not hard.
Right, right. So I try to keep this one just on, there are theories in here, but our main theory is the systems theory, or even ecological theory, where like, how does every outside influence in your life affect your life? And going forward, and how you exchange with other people in your life. So it's, yeah, what impact do we have on the world, and how do, right now we have lots of government checks that come. Does Russia, I'll turn this off, but I meant to ask, does Russia give government checks like we do?